Good morning, YouTube. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. We got some Duncan, we got an M2, and we have more performance parts to put on. So let's get to it. So, first thing I want to do, been really waiting for these. I think they were on back order for a little bit. Charge pipes, all right? When you mod these N55s, or I guess any BMW that has a turbocharger, they're plastic. They break. They leave you stuck on the side of the road. It happens. We're going to get those installed. The next one we're going to be doing is the Turner Motorsports turbo inlet. Now, to get this charge pipe off, pretty sure I got to take the turbo inlet off. So I said, why not just get the turbo inlet? Factory one's plastic. Don't have boost pressure going through it, but it's plastic. Plastic stuff breaks over time, so we're going to replace it. Last thing is going to be the Turner Motorsports catch can assembly. The N55s have a pretty good PCV system, but we're taking stuff apart. This will be easy to install. It's pretty nice. It's got a nice little dipstick that you can check the oil level. So that's really nice, very well thought out. But anyway, let's start working on the car. I'm really excited to get most of these parts on and then, go rip the car and not be afraid that something's gonna blow off this thing. So let's get going. Oh, it's a good espresso. Oh yeah. What we got to do first is just get this intake off to get to the turbo inlet and to also just access the charge pipe. So gonna work on getting that off. Easy enough too. Just take your engine cover off to give you a little bit more access for everything. Couple 13 millimeters. All right, well, got an 8 mil, 6 mil, different sizing. 6 mil on the turbo inlet. Let's take that off. Be very careful taking this off. Mine has broken. It's inevitable. It's plastic under a hot engine bay. So just be gentle. The MAF sensor. Don't want to break that one. Maximum effort. Oof. And voila. Okay, now that we have the intake off, pretty sure this thing just pops right out, so it does. Look at that. And that'll give you more access to the charge pipe. That looks extremely fun to get to because it's buried underneath the AC compressor. So, we've got the charge pipe right here on the throttle body. It's going to run underneath the AC compressor and go to the intercooler. I believe it's one piece. This turbo inlet looks absolutely terrible to access, so that's fun too. I'm gonna take this PCV line. We're gonna try and get this off because that goes down to the inlet. Okay, so I can see the charge pipe. No, I can't. That is, yes, I can. Okay, so yes, so I believe I'm gonna grab a pick and we're gonna take this clamp or this clip off the charge pipe from up here, and then we're gonna raise the vehicle and see what we can see from underneath. There's also a 10 mil for this turbo inlet right here. There's a bracket. I'm gonna take that off from up top. I believe that's the only pieces I can really access from up here. It's pretty tight. So, I'll leave that there. All right, so I'm gonna get you guys in here. So down here, you can see my pick is gonna grab this clip. This is gonna be on the front of the turbo. And we're gonna just pull up and out, and it went back in. Just like that. And then down here, I don't know if you can see it, if you can get in this angle. My pick is on it, but there is a 10 mil down here. It's kind of hard to see it. We're gonna take that off because that holds the turbo inlet, looks like to the block. So let's get a 10 mil, let's take that off, and then we'll go up with the vehicle. Probably take this 10 off first. Just bear with me, people, because this is in a very tight spot. What in the world? I can't get my hand on it. There we go. Okay. So I cracked it loose, but there we go. Yeah. Ta-da. Whew, that was a fun one. Okay. So I'm gonna pop this charge pipe clip back up, because while I was digging in here, it forced itself back down. All right, I moved the clip. I should be able to grab the charge pipe from the bottom, but I'm just gonna leave this in here so the clip does not try to go back in. Okay, so we already took the stiffening plate and the splash shield off just to make it easier for me. So right there, that 10 millimeter nut, that's going to be for the turbo inlet. So we have some pretty good access. And then if we move down right here, this is going to be the other clip for the charge pipe. So I obviously took this one off on the top. So I'm going to probably unclip that, and we're going to try and take the charge pipe out. See if it gives me a little bit more room with the turbo inlet. So let's unclip this. It's not really like a good area. Okay, so that's out. All right, so after a lot of pulling, pushing, and swear words, we got this out. So this one is factory. You can see it's metal on both ends. Most of the enthusiasts, they don't replace this one. This one doesn't really seem to fail. Like I said, it's metal. There's no plastic. It's a rubber hose in between. The ECS one is going to be right here. It's a full metal piece, so I guess less flex. Some people will say under boost, the factory rubber will expand. That won't happen in this case. So hopefully this one's a lot easier to get in, because man, this thing was not fun to get out. Being two pieces, I should be able, actually three pieces, I should be able to get this in a lot better. I was a little concerned. I thought we were going to have to take the core out because there's minimal room in here to get your hands in. So we're going to leave this out for right now. It gives me a little bit more room to get that turbo inlet. So put this down. We'll grab our 10 mil, and we're going to basically take that 10 mil off, turbo inlet, coffee, and get going with this. So that nut right there, we got to get that off for the turbo inlet, and then we should be able to go down with the vehicle and pull it out. Oh man, this is it not a 10 mil? Have I been saying a 10 mil and it's not a 10 mil? There we go. It is a 10 mil. So take your time. Definitely have a long 1/4 inch ratchet. I just need to hold the socket from moving, and right there. So take your time with this. It's just tedious, but once it's out, I'm pretty positive we can just push the turbo inlet. It's almost off. Let's see if I get my fingers back up in here. A couple more threads. Okay. All right, so now that we're back up top, the one thing you're probably gonna fight with is this PCV hose, because it's wrapped around, I think these are the Vanos solenoid harness. So there is, like, I think there's a T20. We might actually have to take that out or force this. Now, this is plastic. It's hard plastic. If you're gonna reuse it, just be gentle. For my purpose, because we have that catch can, we technically don't need to reuse this, so I can be a little bit more aggressive with it. So I'm gonna try and position this a little bit better, just so I can access this Torx right here. We're gonna be reusing that, not the hose, but I believe the fitting that's gonna thread into this port right here. I keep pointing, but this is what I'm trying to get off right now. So let's get a Torx and see if I can get my hands in here. And I'll tell you guys what size it is once I get my hands in here. I'm gonna start with the T20. Once again, very, very, very limited access in here. So, okay. So I believe it's a T20. This hurts my hands. badly. Okay, so that. So put that next to the 10 mil that you fought with. Back to the pick. Use it for leverage to get between the seam. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, but I'm kind of between it. Ouch. Now I separated it a little bit with the pick. Just a little bit more, and boom, she's out. Okay. All right, factory turbo inlet is out. You can see I struggled extremely hard. This was the 10 mil that I couldn't get my hands in. And then this was the T20 that was extremely hard to get out. I just want to make sure there's nothing in the turbo inlet or in the turbo. All right, so I was just kind of test fitting this turbo inlet. It does go in much easier because it's a 2-piece. So I got it, you know, down where it needs to be, but we might be pulling it back out. I don't know if it's gonna help with this out of the way for the charge pipe, but kind of got to get your hand in here, and this is gonna be another fun part, is to just get this piece into the turbo. And pretty sure I just got it to seat. So I'm gonna go up with the vehicle and make sure that this works. But before you do that, right here, we have to put the 2 bolts in and put that bracket on that holds the 10 mil to the block. So don't snug this up to the turbo yet. You'll never be able to get to that. I just need to mock it up to see which way it fits onto the vehicle. Now, maybe I could have put this on before, but I didn't put any of the accessories on, so I could make sure that the fitment was pretty good. And it's held on by two Allens. All right, so we got a 4 mil shallow to try and tighten these. Okay, so we have the bracket on. I want to show you guys something, because if you're reusing this factory piece, the next step doesn't apply to you. But because we have the catch can, I have to cut this hose, because what I'm doing is I need this actual fitting here. I'm going to cut this off, and this is going to act as the new PCV in and out. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to show you so you have an idea. But once you cut this, the factory hose is pretty much useless because it's just molded to here. So I'm going to take a razor blade, cut it off. I'm going to install this onto the turbo inlet and just make a couple of slits. And then it's going to open up that molded piece. Boom, it's off. A little bit of WD-40. Get the O-ring lubricated so it can slide into the new turbo inlet. Okay, there we go. It's not that hard. Okay, so that's installed. We're gonna take the supplied 4 mil Allen, and we're gonna bolt it. Probably gonna take my gloves off for this so I can actually feel this bolt. It's so small. So I think I got it. So we have the PCV fitting on, and we have the bracket for the head. I really fought with this thing. I don't know. I wasn't really thinking, because when I pulled the original one out, there was just no room. So I said, let me install the brackets after. I don't know if it's the right way. That's the way I did it. But because we're using that catch can, I was able to basically pull that fitting off and bolt it in after and not have to deal with the hose. So we have a 2-pin connector that's going to plug into that PCV fitting on the turbo inlet. And then I'm going to just basically going to clip it in. We have all the brackets on, and what we're going to do is now, once again, center this turbo inlet. So we're going to go up with the vehicle So this turbo inlet is flush to the housing. So I got to reach my hand in there and get that 10 mil back in. Try and get my hand, oh, there we go. So reach your hand around there, threading it on, and then I'm just gonna double check housing. All right, so that bolt will, obviously it's gonna pull in and in a sense center, quote unquote, the turbo inlet. So we will grab a ratchet with the 10 mil. Just be careful not to like really crank this. And we're just gonna double check to make sure it's flush. Looks pretty good. Can't really see much, but looks great. This is halfway installed. We still have to do this charge pipe and this charge pipe. So we're gonna focus on doing this one. I had a really hard time getting the original one out, and I just realized this is gonna be worse because it's a metal piece that I can't flex in and out of the car. Before I send this pipe in, it's definitely the correct way. I'm just gonna apply a little bit of WD-40 because what I wanna do is just click this on. It probably would be easier too, like I know the first video you guys probably watched when we did the intercooler, probably should have just done the charge pipes, but these ECS ones were in back order. I don't feel like taking the charge pipe down because then I gotta mess with the radiator fan again. So if I can manage to do this without it, we're gonna do it. No, not that way. Not that way. Oh, I think I just got it. All right, I got it past something. I'm having a really difficult time getting this charge pipe lined up. I can't see anything, and I know I can see the top of it. The top of the pipe from the top. So we're just gonna go down with it and see what's going on. Well, after fighting once again with everything, I was able to get the charge pipe on from over here. You can see on the turbo. So what you wanna do is you're gonna have to pull that clip, pull it out while you get the pipe on. Maybe I just didn't have enough force to click it in, but I pulled the spring back, put it on, clipped it back in. So that's in. Some section of the turbo inlet is in. We're gonna go back up and try to get the other side of the charge pipe in. We might have to take this intercooler out or down. I don't know how I'm gonna actually get the silicone coupler on because like I said, the new one is much stiffer, it's metal, so I don't have a lot of wiggle room. I can't bend it. I can't, bend it to put it on. So we'll see, we'll go up. There is no room at all. So we're just gonna take the core down. So I'm gonna try and just get maybe this side down. I still have this plate. Might get a screw jack. All right. So I'm gonna leave this one in. We're gonna try and pull the core down. What you wanna do is make sure that this spring clip is out a little bit. That's what I was fighting with for when it goes onto the turbo. I was trying to push it on, overcome spring pressure and let this pop, but I don't know, just couldn't get it. So we'll figure that one out. There's no real orientation, I believe, that this is gonna go, but you wanna be able to access these hose clamps. Okay, so that one easily can overcome the spring pressure. No big deal. So this piece is clipped on and it's in its notches. The O-ring's lubed up, it's good. So now we just have to get that silicone coupler. We're gonna loosen these clamps up enough so I can slide one on to the pipe, charge pipe that's already installed in the car. When you have these, you just wanna be able to visualize, okay, where are they gonna sit? Where can I actually see them to tighten them? I'm gonna flip them. Looks like that's gonna be the best way. Kind of slide it over. So open up the clamps as much as you can. Get them so they can slide over the pipe or over the fitting, and then we're just gonna force this thing into its place. Okay, so I got the coupler on to that side. I'm gonna push it as far as possible, and then we're just gonna push the core back up. This is very interesting, but I think I'm gonna get the core back in place. Okay, so that's back in place. Obviously, this tube needs to be oriented a correct way. I'm gonna put this all the way in because that's going to dictate the position of which the coupler will sit. So put it all the way back in. Hopefully it doesn't have to come back out. I'm spinning the charge pipe that's on the turbo because it's not in line. Something's stopping me up top. I think I'm hitting the thermostat. Okay, well, that's why I can't turn it anymore. Oh. Okay, well, I caved. I was trying to do this without taking the core out. You have to. There's just no way. I was fighting with it for so long. So I was just being stubborn because I already had the core put in. And like I've said a couple times, you should definitely just do the charge pipes and the core all at once. So we're going to go down and get this other pipe off, the famous pipe, the infamous, whichever you want to call it, that snaps at the throttle body. This one is loose, so when we get the core in, you're going to have to just fiddle with them to get them right. Looks like a lot of fun. So we're going to get the, I believe this is a boost pressure sensor. Just unclip it, pull the tab up, pull it out, and then we're going to grab this clip, pop that out, and there we go. Charge pipe's off, just kind of dangling. I believe there's a grommet down here because I can feel it. Yes, so, and it's missing. So I think this charge pipe has been off. This vehicle obviously has a few previous owners. I don't know. I don't think it's coming out that way. Back up we go. Use all your might and pull this slinky out. Okay, and got it out. I'm actually surprised. Nice, didn't have to cut it. This is gonna be the difference. Obviously we have the metal pipe. I feel like someone replaced this already because the grommet was missing. The purge port was broken. So for whatever reason, this was off. So we're just gonna reinstall a couple of the pieces. Be very careful because you don't want to break this. They give you new supplied hardware. And then these ports, I believe you can, for nitrous, I guess, or an intake air temperature sensor, or maybe water meth injection, but we're not doing either of those. So we're just going to tighten them, close them off. Do not apply too much pressure to this. Just snug them up a bit. We're just going to unthread them, get a little bit of like Honda bond on them. This will help it so it doesn't ever want to come loose, but also help you with sealing off the port. Not really much more you could do. I mean, I could take a pair of pliers, but honestly, with the Honda bond, once that sets, it's not going to move. Let's get the pipe installed. The nice thing about this one, because it's two pieces, I don't think it's going to be as much of a struggle to get this in. So I'm just going to separate it. I might put this in from the top. I might have like more room from the top. Let's try from the top. I don't know if this is going to work, but being two pieces, I could probably just drop this thing right in. That's much easier. So I'm going to clip this on up here. Okay, you'll kind of feel it seat. The spring should snap into place like it did. And that pipe's good to go. While we're up here, let's plug this purge line back in, which mine's already broken, so that'll be on the next list of things that I need to do. I think while we're up here, we should just probably get the catch can situated with, get it out of the way. Let's mock up the catch can. I'm pretty positive it just mounts to the side of the strut tower. They give you a supply bracket. It looks like you take this 8mm off on the expansion tank right here. And then I believe this Torx bit back here, it's gonna go underneath this brake line and bolt like that. All right, so this is a T40. Take it all the way out. There is a harness bracket on here too. Should be okay. So I thought this was for something else, but they give you a spacer. I'm assuming It's just going to go between the bracket and the body of the vehicle because there's a slight gap. I'm not going to just pull it in. So we're just going to kind of center that, apply some pressure. It's a little awkward, I'm not going to lie. And just thread that back in, stubby Phillips. And then what you're going to do is lay the body down on the bracket. And then this pipe is going to go to the turbo inlet, and this one's going to go right to here. The bottom has a drain, and they do supply a fitting you can put, and then you can just drop a hose down. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to check the level. If it becomes an issue, then I'll install the drain. But I don't see this motor pushing a lot of oil through the PCV system. So once you get the first thread, just keep turning it. Now it's still loose, and the reason I have it loose is so I can position these silicone hoses wherever I want to, tighten it, and we're going to do the same thing at the turbo inlet. PCV system is sealed, so that's good. Just check, with your fingers to make sure that you can feel the outer edge of that PCV fitting. And these and those. Okay. And we're going to go down to the turbo inlet. And then we're going to take our flashlight and confirm it's all the way down. Flip this. Okay, easy enough. And now the last thing to do is to make sure this canister is very tight, because once again, it'll create a vacuum leak. So just keep threading it on until it stops. And that's about it. Make sure that the oil checker is good. So what we'll do right now is we will go up with the vehicle, get the other section of the charge pipe, and then we're gonna wrestle this intercooler back in. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put one of the silicone couplers on. I'm gonna tighten it slightly for this charge pipe. We're gonna get this piece on. I highly recommend to just keep the hose clamps loose, so when you get the core on, you can slide the pipe in and out a little bit. So once again, position the hose clamps to where you will actually be able to tighten them. And then we're just gonna slide this pipe in, but you just kind of wiggle it on, and there you go. So I'm not gonna tighten the hose clamps yet, like I just said. I want to be able to move this on the core. This is probably going to be the worst part, is to get this thing on the core. We're going to have to just hope that everything goes together. So let's get the core in. I actually might need my cameraman's assistance to get this core in. So we're reinstalling the intercooler. I'm going to tell you guys right off the rip, don't replace this pipe with an aftermarket one. They don't fit. If I ever have to take this off, I'm putting the factory one back on. I have been struggling for quite some time trying to get that piece in. So let's try and get this on. I'm gonna probably pull the clip a little bit. I guess I'm taking the whole clip out. So it's gonna take the clip out. I will tell you the angles just don't line up properly. So we'll drop the core down a little bit and see. Position the clip. And then you're gonna have to kind of move the core while you move the pipe, and then the spring tension from that clip should kind of just fall into place. All right, and the clip locked in. Just double triple check, because the only thing holding these pipes on are these clips. This one, like I said, terrible. So, but it's in, it's clipped in. We're gonna just tighten the hose clamps, and we're gonna go down with the car and finish up the turbo inlet. We're gonna put the rest of the turbo inlet together, intake, start the car, make sure there's no vacuum leaks, and that should wrap up today's video. So hopefully the nice thing with the aftermarket one, you have a little bit more like wiggle room because it's a two-piece, but I don't want to speak too soon because I could be completely wrong. I wouldn't tighten it all the way down first, just because we're gonna get the intake in and make sure that it's positioned properly. I want to be able to try and tighten it while the intake's on. So I'm just trying to figure out the best location for that. It's definitely fighting me, guys. Alright, so that's on. I'm gonna leave that like that. We're gonna position the hose clamp, and then we're gonna mock up the intake. Before we do that, just double check the charge pipe. So because on mine, this piece has been broken, as soon as boost goes into here, this pipe's gonna come flying off. So I'm gonna have to get a new purge line assembly. So for right now, I'm gonna probably just put a zip tie around it. If this isn't clipped in, it's gonna come flying out. So hopefully it doesn't create a boost leak. We'll have to see. Just gonna have to watch it, that's all. Get this air box back in. Okay. Just sits in the grommets, make sure. All right, so everything seems to fit pretty well. And make sure you get these tight because you will have a vacuum leak and it will throw check engine light because it's after the MAF. I will say the other clamp on the other end is not much fun at all to install. So I'm gonna clip this back in, get the mass airflow sensor, and then just tightening this, which I need an 8mm. Make sure that's tight, not too tight with the carbon fiber. And I think that's it. So we're just gonna wash our hands, hop in this thing and start it. All right guys, so we're inside the car. We're gonna start it, make sure that it idles fine, make sure there's no vacuum leak. So 3, 2, 1. Seems to be fine. We really won't know until we go and drive it, but the idle seems fine on cold start. Let it kind of drop. But yeah. All right, everyone. Well, that's pretty much it for today. We got everything installed. You know, we're gonna go take the car for a test drive a little bit later. I still have some pieces to put back on underneath. But if you like what you're watching, please like and subscribe. We're gonna have a couple more videos coming out. Like I said, I still have to get some more parts. So just be patient with us. I believe the next one will probably be a DCT service. I don't think this car has ever had the fluid or filter change within 70,000 miles. So the transmission service is definitely next. So, you know, just keep an eye out for the video and like and subscribe. Thank you.